Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So, thank you very much. We've passed the 2000 subscribers mark and this is a big milestone. Now we're working up and very soon I think I'm gonna be able to add more content and services to you, like one-to-ones and all that here on YouTube. So I hope that will be interesting for everyone. Something new, so always up. Okay, so upon your request, today I am going through the 5 stages of power tuning of the GR Yaris in more detail. So since it's a lot of content, I'm going to split this in 2 different videos. And today we are going to see the stage 1 and stage 2 in the detail of what my personal suggestion is what to install on the car. And mind you, there is a reason why these two are grouped, because here you need to make some choices that will affect what you can do or not in possible future power raising. So let's get right into it. Stage 1 is the easiest, and let's divide it, as you will see in the notes, between mandatory and optional upgrades. So what is mandatory? First of all, GPF Delete. These cars were not studied with the GPF, they were not mapped with the GPF. This was put only to, after, let's say, the development of the car, to respond to European regulations. I saw for myself, with my own car and on dynos, that this makes between 8 and 10 horsepower difference, and it also improves your fuel mileage. So this is like a no-brainer, and it works even with a stock car. So very cheap mod, just take the GPF away, nobody needs it and it's fine. Second, you want a panel filter. So if you leave the stock airbox in place, just change the panel filter from the original paper version to a cotton version. Please do not use a sponge version. Very, very bad, and it suits on your MAF intake measurement flow meter, and it makes a lot of problems for you. So you really don't want that. And obviously, the third part that is mandatory is getting a remap. So the only good remap is with EcuTek software. So today you want to map your car with EcuTek software dealer, and make sure he makes a good job. By this, I mean that don't cheap out on possible options, and I mean that you have to ask him to make a reliable map. A map that will make power in any conditions. Because it's easy to go on a dyno and to strap the car down and to push the limits and get maybe 10 or 15 brake horsepower more. But then in that moment maybe you have special fuel additives or whatever. That is not what you will use every day. Plus, on the dyno, the car is not stressed mostly, let's say, the way it is on a real world track hot day. Because we're coming to summer and you want your car to be able to work in the same way all year in all conditions. Because as a driver, I can tell you, and you know most of you very well, that repeatability is key. So you want your car always to drive the same. So once you get to the right grade of boost and ignition timing with an EcuTek map, I say that, let's say conservatively, around 300 horsepower, you already have a very, very good car. So what are the options? Yes, shifter cable bushings, the ones on top of the gearbox we spoke about already in the previous videos. Then you should cut the plastic parts that are in the front bumper on the 2 sides of the Toyota logo. There are 2 intakes of air. One goes directly to the air intake for the engine, the other one just cools the engine bay and back to the turbo. So these have 2 stripes of plastic in the middle. You can just cut them off. Nobody will see the difference, even yourself, every day in using the car. at those enable to open something like 25% more air passing through and going directly into your intake. You can also mod the intake tract that goes from that part inside the hood to the air box, and this is also something that will help, but it's not something major, I would say. Then heat wrap, let's say insulate in some way with some insulating material. You can get some of this also very cheap from hardware stores, something that resists to water but is insulating, like something that is used behind the heaters in the house to radiate heat back towards the interior of the house. Like for 10 euros you can pick one of these up, and you will wrap the up pipe that goes from the intercooler to the throttle body, just behind the radiator, because it heat soaks a lot in hot weather, and this I have seen that helps intake temperatures a lot in heat soak conditions, where you're stationary, where you're going to a track day and then you're stopping and starting again because you're in a line, maybe at the Nürburgring and whatever. This helps a lot. And last thing that is also optional but a very good addition is a lithium battery. Once more, I am using and paid for a Touge 500 from Deadweight Industries. Any other battery with similar specification will be fine. You'll find this one in the list. And you are already taken away something like 15-16 kilograms away from the car. And by the way, I've seen this car on the weights, and it also stabilizes. It's not like certain 90s cars or 2000s cars where they use the battery to compensate to unbalancing of the chassis itself. In this case, it's just weight. It's dead weight you're carrying. Then after that, obviously, if you want to remove the rear seats, this is up to you. You need nothing more than a carpet to do that. And yeah, you can use some strut bars in the front and rear. I personally found a huge difference from the rear strut bar positively, and this already makes a difference. We will talk about suspension in another video. So, stage 2. Stage 2, what is mandatory and why is it tricky? It's because if you plan on staying at stage 2 power level, that let's say is between 320 and 340 horsepower, once again, you can get more, but without pushing the envelope too much, as we said, you need to stick to a 70 millimeter exhaust line. And this will have to go from the downpipe back. So you can leave the stock downpipe, but actually you can also take away the stock downpipe, and you can have a catalyzer under the car. That would be one of the best options, but 70 mil, not 76, not 3-inch, just 70. Or you can buy like an HJS cat. This is also very, very good. It's a bit expensive, but it's a beautiful product and it works marvelous. And then the full line. Choose whatever style of end pipes you want, whatever style of silencer boxes you want. This is up to you. Just note that any silencer box that is small and does not have a mechanical resonator in it will make a lot of noise and a lot of drone. So it depends where you live, how much you want to be heard, and it's up to you. After this, you will need a proper intake system. As you guys know, I developed my own. Unfortunately, it's too expensive to produce and to share. So we have a Venturi that I'm not a fan because of the fact that at this power level, they make the intake tract too wide, and you actually have some retardation from the turbo because of this, whilst it works very well on full frame turbos and hybrids. In this case, I'm not so sure. And I think another one is like MST, that is very simple design, just with a conical filter, but the area around the cone is backed off blanked off from the rest of the engine. So also there, if you heat shield this part, it should work better. And I would keep the stock intake tract. There is a tube that turns back down. I see if I can put an image up here just now. And I would keep that stock at this power level. Once again, intercooler. Intercooler. No intercooler fits all needs. So if you're staying at this power level, on my experience, the best option is the Forge Motorsport kit. And once again, I paid for my kit in full. And this kit comes with all the turbos, the turbo tubes, intake, inlet and outlet side. And this will give you a huge improvement in cooling your charge air temperatures. And personally, I found no lag. And I was very afraid of adding lag to my car, using it on small, tight rally roads. But instead, I found it even more responsive. I'm quite astonished about that. After this, you will want to install an oil radiator. Once again, I'm a fan of the product from HEL Performance I have on my car. And they always find very neat engineering solutions to install this on the car. And in this specific application, they have a very good sandwich plate that goes between the engine in the oil filter housing and the oil filter itself. And this is needed on top of other ones because it keeps a minimum flow of oil constant even when the thermostat inside the plate is closed. And this means that it's easier for the circuit to be balanced, and then just to compensate when it opens and it flows the oil in a bigger manner throughout the radiator. And after this, obviously, once more, EcuTek Stage 2 map, and this will set you with no problems. And once again, tell your tuner just not to push to make the numbers for Facebook or Instagram or whatever. Yeah, about the other supporting mods, they're just the same as option 1. So shifter cable bushings, cut the plastic parts in the intake tracts in front of the Toyota logo on the bumper on the two sides. Insulate your up pipe that goes from the intercooler to your throttle body, and install a lithium battery. And once again, it's up to you if you wish to change and remove your rear seats, because it depends on the use you will do of the car. Very soon we will talk about more chassis molds. I will go into detail of something very interesting that is coming in the next days. I won't want to say now about front lower control arms, and then we will go even more deep into greater suspension modifications into more detail, updated to year 2024. So I hope this clears it out for you, and thank you for following me. If you don't already, please subscribe, like this, and put the notification bell on so you always know when something is coming from me. Have a good one. Bye now.